Alright everybody, we have our first game here. It's actually the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final and we are currently looking at the first round game, therefore it is still a best of one series. Cursed Hollow is the map, we are currently in patch 17.5 and guess what? Due to my knowledge, Tracer is actually allowed. Evil Murkies going up against the Melting Pot here. So ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final, an online tournament of course. Thank you very much to ZOTAC for putting all of that together. The Melting Pot already banning out Illidan, saying like, you know what, we don't really want to play that guy. The interesting part about it is that they actually ban him out first. So normally it's like the second team that bans him out because, well, they don't want to go up against him and is of course the first pick for the first banned team as well. So Melting Pot has in this case now an opportunity to pick Tracer if they want to. We have Arthas banned out as well. Makes of course perfect sense. That bad boy is still incredibly strong and it's one of the things that most of the teams are very reluctant to deal with. A nice opening into the draft. Well, Tracer, of course, is shaking up the meta a little bit, and you have also to keep in mind that we are currently looking at a first-round game, so it's not like the top teams in Europe that we're currently watching here. But Evil Murkies, they qualified for DreamHack Tour, but when we are talking about like drafting, keep all those things in mind a little bit. The false start for Melting Pot, on the other hand, is a very solid one. It's very strong on Cursed Hollow. You have great control with the flying ability of false stat. Globals in general are very powerful on certain maps. We are seeing oftentimes on Sky Temple, for example, the potential double pick with a false stat Dehaka at the beginning of the game because you get so much good control over how you can play it here. Dehaka, still an option on Cursed Hollow. We don't really see him too often right now in the picks, but ooh, Tassadar, maybe with a Sonya, that would be a really good start for them. It's usually a counter pick to an Illidan that you see there, but Tassadar, always a good choice, keeps you very flexible in the draft. He's one of those pseudo supports, one of those like utility supports, and yes, it is indeed the Sonya. That will enable Evil Murkies already to do a lot of damage. They actually have, there's a lot of fight control that you have there. You can go Leeching Plasma and Warpaint, and you have a lot of sustain on Sonya. Block can be a nice talent depending on what Melting Pot is going to go for here right now. But it's definitely a very cool start for the Evil Murkies. And Tracer is currently let go. Again, I have to double check with the admins if Tracer is actually allowed, but I am pretty sure that they are allowed to draft her because, well, she's already been in the meta for, or like in the game for a little bit. Official Blizzard tournaments usually introduce a 2-week ban until the hero can be played in official Blizzard tournaments, but that doesn't really affect the tournament like the ZOTAC Cup. They make up their own rules, and normally with them it's like roughly 1 week, and Tracer has been out for more than that. Melting Pot with Stitches now, and well, Stitches, of course, in Cursed Hollow can be quite nice because you can get those free hooks in when an opponent is attempting to channel the tribute. He's a really strong tank, but it's interesting that they so far didn't pick a Muradin or an ETC, which are two of the strongest CC tanks that we currently have in the game. Wouldn't really be surprised if they pick up a second tank along the way. Stitches, as a solo hero, can definitely be played, but he's oftentimes just showing his real strength if you combine him with another frontliner. He is a little bit more flexible in the way that he can be played. You can focus a bit more on the slam build. You don't have to necessarily go full tank mode. So there are a couple of options of what you can do with the Stitches, but I would really like for them to add also one of the CC tanks. And in this case, it could even be a Dehaka on Cursed Hollow, which would give them even more global mobility here because they already drafted Falstad. But they have also, of course, options trying to go into something along the lines of maybe like an ETC or a Muradin, just to like get that hook in and the follow-up stun. The Evil Murkies, they are looking at banning out damage, and they have the Sonya. So oftentimes when you see Sonya on one side and Illidan already being banned out, then you will see a Thrall appear for the opponent's team. And that's what the Evil Murkies are currently trying to deny. They're saying like, hey, we have Sonya, we have a very, very nice bruiser at the front. We want to make sure that you have no chance of picking up Thrall here, so we just like take him out right away. Melting Pot, interestingly enough, is looking at an Abathur ban. I don't really know if that is the smartest ban right now. They already have Falstad, who can start to hunt down Abathur if he wants to. And if the Evil Murkies actually commit to an Abathur after they already drafted Tassadar, they would have a very tough time to go into an additional healer here. So I feel that was not a necessary ban. It's definitely always an option for the Evil Murkies to play with an Abathur here. Can be quite annoying, don't get me wrong, but I think in this case you could have actually risked it and tried to limit your opponent's, I mean, for example, the pool when it comes to supports. Arthas, on the other hand, would be kind of sexy, but I guess Muradin or ETC are the more likely choice that we're having here. I wouldn't mind seeing an Arthas on the other hand, though. Of course, there is going to be a rework for Arthas in the near future. Blizzard already like showcased that a bit. But so far, we are not seeing too many Arthas played in the current version. We have seen them occasionally. and I would really not mind. I mean, he offers quite a bit to the team, but overall the teams are leaning more towards a Muradin and an ETC since they just have that stun ability. But they go for it. They go for Arthas here, and I kind of like it. So it's actually like a lot of slow that they provide with it. Problem that Arthas has is like he can be kited quite easily. He has oftentimes a little bit of trouble getting out of the fight, but I really like the approach here. It's a very engage heavy frontline in the sense that they want to push into the opponent. So that's pretty cool for them here with a Sonya. Melting Pot, on the other hand, they have to, well, I would really like them to go into double warrior and double damage. So when it comes to damage, a Lunara would work really well with Stitches thanks to the synergy between the Putrid Bile and Unfair Advantage. That's definitely something that they could play here, and I would like that a lot actually, considering the setup that we see for the Evil Murkies. And besides that, they can always then add another tank. And right now, they have a couple of options. We have Muradin still available, we have ETC available, and the Haka is also still in the game. So they can definitely try and just make sure that there's a little bit more CC and maybe even more global control, even though they already run a false set here. So that's a couple of things that they can do. But they go into the double support instead and draft Tyrande. Now, Tyrande, of course, is quite nice. I mean, first of all, she can go into Pierce and Empower and can then just cancel tribute channels. And she can also have the synergy with Stitches and Tyrande, so that's like hook into stun. But that already means that they have to get another damage dealer right now. So they will have to play Stitches solo. Definitely a way that you can play this, don't get me wrong. Personally, I would have preferred them to go into a second frontliner against the setup that we're seeing for the Evil Murkies. But it's definitely something that is totally viable. A Zeratul, on the other hand, would be an interesting approach here for them right now. He's by no means a bad hero, and he can definitely pressure Li Ming in particular with the Vorpal Blades quite nicely. The question is, though, can you really run that? Oh, wow, Stack. How are you doing, Bilbo? Stack back to business, 1337. Hope that you're doing well, my friend, and welcome to the stream here today. And thank you for the support, dude. And they actually draft Zeratul. So we have a Brightwing as the counter. Okay, guys, there's a couple of things to talk about here. Back in the day, when we had like the Alpha still around, or Beta even, Stitches and Zeratul was actually something that a lot of teams drafted because you could get the hook in, and then Zeratul would jump between the target and the rest of the team, drop that quick Void Prison, and isolate the target even more. You can do that, or you can just like simply use Zeratul, of course, as a bit of an engagement pressure against Li Ming. With Tyrande, Stitches, and Zeratul, you have a lot of options to really isolate a single target and then take it down and annihilate it and turn it into a 4 versus 5. I have to admit that I would have looked towards a bit of a different draft here for them. I would have really liked for them to go into a Lunara here, since she combos really well with Stitches. She's great in this particular scenario. She's also very good at kiting Arthas. There's very little hard engage on the side of the Evil Murky, so I personally think Lunara would have been exceptionally strong here. They decide against that and are running it now with the Zeratul. Brightwing as a hero for Evil Murkies, which will allow them to go into Peekaboo at level 4. Also, of course, going into the Polymorph is going to be quite nice. So it's a little bit of a counterplay here, and together with the Tacita, you can definitely play a Brightwing. And also, of course, Brightwing is a bit of a counterplay against Falstad, since she has also some global presence and can therefore help out with it. But yeah, it's a really nice setup. I like the Evil Murkies draft a bit more, I have to admit, but Melting Pot definitely has their chances with the setup that they're running here. So we're going to go into game number 1, everybody, on Cursed Hollow. It is a best of 1, keep that in mind. Here at the ZOTAC Cup, we are currently in the round of 8, so let's jump in right away and see which team is going to be able to move on to the semifinals. Cursed Hollow, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1, and we have to the left the Evil Murkies. It is Q on Brightwing, the team actually that qualified for DreamHack Tour, so we are going to keep a close tabs on them today. Tank for the win on Sonya. We have Tic Tac on Tacita, Arcane on Li Ming, and Danatan is playing Arthas. To the right side of the map, the Melting Pot. Really quick pause here at the beginning of the game, apparently like fixing a couple of issues. We have Lichterloh on Stitches, we see Just Yo on Zeratul, ACA on Falstad, Guano on Rhaegar, and Tharkum is playing Tyrande right now. It's definitely an interesting setup that we see here for the two teams. Also interesting that we have a silenced player in here. Of course, I guess you probably heard the news already, and well, if you haven't really seen too much of the changes that Blizzard is going to introduce soon to the game, you should definitely check out the Dustin Browder interview that I released on the YouTube channel, because that was actually pretty huge. And one of the things that's going to happen is that silenced players are not going to be allowed to play in Hero League anymore, and that's going to be an incredibly important change, because, well, all the silenced players right now have exactly exactly 1 month to get their shit together, and then we are going to see all of them dropping out of Hero League, at least for the duration of the silence. So in the game right now, let's double check what's happening. While we're seeing a restart on the side of the Melting Pot, we're having first of all a double block. We've been already talking about the potential of Sonya going into Warpaint to combine it with the Lich King Plasma as a potential talent on Tacita on level 4. In this case, we have a Zeratul against them, and of course also that fall stat. So with all that auto attack available, they just simply said, okay, you know what? Block is the way to go here, and it's definitely a strong talent to take. And this is actually also one of the talents that we are immediately seeing here for Arthas. He wants to be super tanky. This is of course before the changes to Arthas. We already had at the Heroes of the Storm Summit a bit of an adjustment where we had, Arthas basically with a new version, a lot more scarier than he is right now, but he is that tanky guy at the front line that they're currently relying upon. It's not really a surprise to see Brightwing going straight into the Hyper Shift. I mean, it's a normal build that you would expect here. Maybe Peekaboo as an adjustment on level 4, that would make sense. Stitches against Li Ming is going into the Dampen Magic, which is actually a very strong talent, but he's not going into the Hungry for More here, which would have, of course, increased his hit point pool quite significantly. We're seeing the Gathering Storm build here for them, and we've been talking already a bit about the setup that they are running here. Especially on the side of the red team, it is not your everyday draft. It is definitely a bit different. The only real damage dealer that we have right now is Falstad. Tyrande, of course, is probably going to end up with quite a bit of damage as well, considering that she's very likely to head into Starfall. But when we are talking auto attacks and single target damage, then it's mostly Falstad and Zeratul that are currently trying to dish out most of this. So, interestingly enough, oh, wait a moment, we have already taken Overload with the increased range on the Psionic Storm on Tacita. That's important because it already indicates that he wants to interrupt tribute channels. So he's going to try and stay a little bit farther to the back. He is, of course, giving up Conjurer's Pursuit, which is a talent that is making it a bit easier for him to spam out his talents in later stages. There's the hook, and immediately, of course, that stun. The combo is still going strong. You throw out that hook, Tyrande goes straight for the stun, and then you are trying to just annihilate the target. We have in this case Lightning Bond now taken on Rhaegar. I have to admit that it surprises me a bit that Guano goes for the Lightning Bond in this case. Normally when we are talking about Cursed Hollow, it's a bit more likely that you're actually seeing the opponent going into something like well, first of all, like the Totem build, for example, on level 1 and level 16 is incredibly powerful, especially against someone like Arthas, who already has a tough time to really walking in and connecting with the opponent. I think that would have been the superior build here. But I could have also seen the speed upgrade on Rhaegar, which is actually like very popular these days, and it gives you a few more options during the game. This talent in particular is great on some maps. On this map, it surprises me a bit. Arcane in trouble here, but is able to get away. This is one of the things that we have to watch out for a little bit during the game. Arcane on his Li Ming against Just Yo on his Zeratul. Because Zeratul is going to head into Warple Blades on level 4, or at least he should. And once he does that, he will have an opportunity to always just stick closely to Li Ming and try to put the damage in. So Arcane will definitely be attacked here. It's one of the reasons why he went into the Force Armor on level 1. This is actually like a very cool game to explain a couple of the basics that we oftentimes have here. Adanatan gets hooked. Brightwing, oh, goes in and is able to heal a bit. Also the Death Coil, of course, keeping Danatan alive here. Well done, well done. I like it. So yeah, well played, and yeah, this is a pretty sweet start actually for, especially in this case, the Evil Murkies. But yeah, it's a pretty cool game to explain a couple of the talent choices. You can really see that in Heroes of the Storm, versatility and the ability to adapt to your opponent's drafts is incredibly important. And that's exactly what we're currently seeing on the side of Li Ming and the Evil Murkies. Rhaegar now going straight into also a Healing Ward. Can be a great talent on this map. You get a lot of value out of it if you position it a little bit safer towards the back when you are going for a tribute fight. And that's what we're seeing here. With the level 4 talents in play, we have now also the Warple Blades taken as expected. So that's going to be an important talent to put pressure on Li Ming. At the bot lane, bit of pressure play happening here with a 2 versus 1. Q is the only one at the bottom, and they are starting to rotate down, but that's really where the globals are starting to become important, as Falstad is still at the top, can soak an additional wave if he wants to before he heads to the bottom, and he's already moving in. Feral Heart taken for Rhaegar, that gives him a little bit of additional sustain, so he won't have to go to base this often, and both of the teams are going to try and fight for this one. But, oh, there's the stun. What a nice teleport by Arcane. But we saw Sonya coming in very late because she took another wave in the middle. And there's an experience lead that they're running right now. Level 6 versus 5. And they're already going straight for Stitches. Good, pull him off. Lichterloh is down. and eliminated. Great move. Falstad had to go straight into the middle because this timing here with the camp was perfect for the Evil Murkies. Really nice play. I'm loving what they're doing right now. They took the camp with perfect timing here, making sure that they had a mercenary camp pushed through the mid lane at the same time as the curse was spawning. And that forced back Falstad because he had to try and save the middle, but they still lost 2 of their towers. So from the start, we saw Melting Pot being on a clock here when they were trying to fight for the tribute. Perfect timing, and from a strategical point of view, what we just saw Evil Murkies pull off was actually very well done. So they were really playing the map, they were timing the camps, and they had everything calculated quite nicely to get that slight lead in the game that they're running here already. I have to also make a bit of an adjustment, by the way. It was not Rhaegar earlier that went for the healing ward. It was instead Tassadar who gave up the Lich King plasma. Lockdown on the other hand now here at the bot lane. And we're seeing Rhaegar eliminated. Falstad is incredibly low. Was trying to go for a kill against Tanatan. Q and Arcane with a second kill. It's Falstad that's down. Just Jonas Zeratul can claim the death of Arthas though. But besides that, it's still a 2-for-1 trade. Both of the teams now on level 7, but definitely an interesting choice of Tassadar to go into the healing ward. Usually you would have expected him to go either into the cooldown reduction for his Oracle, the mental acuity, or to go into the Leeching Plasma to help out Sonya a little bit more, and maybe even Arthas. But in this case, it is an adjustment. Going into the healing ward here helps a bit with Arthas, of course, thanks to his survivability, but still, it's a bit of a toss-up, I have to admit. So right now, besides that, we see Destruction taken as the level 4 talent on Arthas. We have the Rune Tap taken on level 7. And Peekaboo, as already expected a little bit earlier, as the level 4 talent for Brightwing. So nice adjustments here in the game. Good hook against Tank. Tank in a bit of trouble, but he's dodging the stun. And with his Whirlwind, he's able to leech a lot. Justio has to blink out. He's really low on his Zeratul. Once again, the Evil Murkies. They're close to 10. They want the kill here, and they want the tribute. And they are looking strong. They get the lockdown and nearly the kill against Falstad. He's barely able to get away. Protective shield helps out, but Lichtalo is getting coiled and sniped as Arcane is going straight in for the kill. Zeratul also in trouble. Yeah, all of a sudden, this entire hunter and hunted synergy is completely, or dynamic, is completely thrown apart because suddenly it's Li Ming who is starting to chase the melee assassin. That's not what you usually see here, but in this case it works out for them. The level 10 abilities are now ready. And with this, we have 4 kills versus 1. We're seeing pretty much what we would expect here. The Blink kill taken for Brightwing. We're having Wrath of the Berserker on Sonya. We're seeing Tassadar hesitating a little bit on his talent. On this map, Force Wall is incredibly strong, but we have seen a few of the teams heading into Archon again if they felt that they need some extra damage. And it's something where he could just simply say, you know what, I'm going to try and get just like some extra damage out of all of this. Then again, he doesn't have the Leeching Plasma, so he can't even rely on that synergy. It's of course not a crucial synergy to pick Archon, but it's a little bit more likely that we are going to see the Force Wall in this game. It's going to be a curse against the Melting Pot. There's nothing that they can really do about this. They didn't even try to contest it, and for good reason. They don't have the level 10 ability, and therefore there's absolutely no chance for them to win a fight. Bot lane pressure here, and Tyrande taken out. Tank is getting away, and the Evil Murkies, they are absolutely dominating this game at this point. They're playing an incredible game, and you can really see why these guys were able to qualify for Dream Merit Tour, where they're going to fight, of course, on their home turf in France. For now, though, Tank is not able to catch up with Falstad. Zeratul wasn't making sure of that. We're having, this time, there it is, the Archon taken for Tassadar, nice. And in the mid lane, another Fort eliminated. Great experience lead right now, and a very, very cool game on the side of the Evil Murkies, I have to say. They're pressuring this completely. Falstad with the Hinterland Blast. We're going to see Void Prison into Hinterland Blast with a Starfall combined here. So they go for a bit of a wombo combo style at this point. And this could definitely be very nice. Already trying to go for it. Here's the Hinterland Blast. Has to come any moment right now. Where is it? What is he waiting for? What? He's finally using it. He gets the damage out. All right, that was still well done. Brightwing is down. They're trying to go for the kill against Sonya. Sonya is taking revenge with the kill against Tyrande. She is still eliminated. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Melting Pot. ACA gets healed with an Ancestral. Arcane is teleporting out. Was a close call, but he is able to get away. Yeah, quite interesting that ACA was actually waiting this long for his Hinterland Blast. I was really thinking that they'd try to combine that properly with the Void Prison, which is normally what you see. But in this case, he actually waited quite some time. And it was a situation where it was very difficult for anybody to dodge it, especially since we still had Putrid Bile in effect. But yeah, bit of a risky move there. Worked out in their favor, though. We still have level 13 talents versus level 10 talents, so a lead on the side of the evil Murkies. But if you look at the damage output here, Falstad with the Hinterland Blast that he actually chose has gone straight up to 22,000 damage. As mean 26k on the side of Arthas, and already an attempt to go for boss down here. They have the extra talent, keep that in mind, where Sonya went into the spell shield after Calamity, the Illusionist, has been chosen for Li Ming. Arthas with Relentless, and boss is claimed. And at the top lane, a very similar picture right now. There is a huge difference between these bosses now, though. This boss is going to move up to the top lane, and as you can see, we have already a fort in place. Whereas the boss down here is going to march straight for the keep, and that is a massive problem, which means that the boss up there has to be left alone. They have to TP back, which is what they do right now. And up at the top, the boss is maybe going to get the fort with a bit of luck. Shouldn't even get that much. But down here, it's already a very nice pressure play that we're seeing on the side of the evil Murkies against their opponent. So with that, they not only get the entire wall, but they will put some pressure on the keep itself. Not quite sure if they're going to be able to take it down, but they are definitely going... They actually should put it down. Oh, well, there's the Void Prison. Where's the Hinterland Blast? Not used yet, but we have the Starfall. No, we don't. Finally being used a little bit late. Hinterland Blast with a kill against Arthas. ACA gets that in, but the boss is still on the keep, and this one is gonna fall. Q with a blink heal is able to dodge the stun, but once again, the hook on Lichterloh Stitches is looking good. Tacita trying to help out Q. Blink heal. Oh, it's too late. Down goes Brightwing. Tribute is on the map, and we have already Tank trying to go straight for channel, whereas the Owl travels in and hits in time. Arcane should have actually moved in to go for a double channel. Didn't do that, and now he's even hunted down. There's the Warble Blades, and Zeratul is trying to go for the kill. Can't make it happen just yet. Hook, oh my god, just between the two heroes here, but that was definitely a close call. At the top lane, the fort has been eliminated, so the boss actually did some very solid work. And we have now Arthur starting to move in. Again, Hinterland Blast, by the way, used to only take down Arthas. ACA is hitting his targets. It's still weird to me to see it not combined properly with the Void Prison after it already trapped 3 heroes earlier. But he is getting value out of the Hinterland Blast, so as long as he is able to hit them like he does, I guess it's fine. But I feel he makes his life unnecessarily difficult at this point. But he is very solid when it comes to hitting this. He killed Arthas in the last fight. That was a huge start for them. For now, though, we have again a talent lead for the evil Murkies, but level 13 has been dropped at least by now for the Melting Pot. With the Wormhole taken, we're seeing the Earth Shield, Tyrande with the Sprint, and the Wormhole plus Giant Killer is of course going to be pretty nice for them as well. Arthas is starting to take camps away from the opponent. Pretty sneaky move here in this part. We have Nerves of Steel and also Stone Skin taken for Danatan, and also Tank on Arthas plus Sonya. So that's going to help them, yeah? Another tribute is happening. So second tribute for the red team would be the first one for the blue team in this cycle. So nothing too crazy just yet, but it would give them a little bit more safety if they can claim it. I personally believe that it would be a mistake for the Melting Pot to commit to it too heavily. I don't really think they're going to do it. They're down 1 talent, so the chances of them actually getting this one are very, very slim. 33,000 damage by now against heroes on Li Ming, 29k for Falstad as the second highest damage dealer in the game. And besides that, we're seeing Arthas also with nice siege damage here, 62k for him, even more than Falstad has with the Gathering Power build that he's Gathering Storm build that he's currently running in this game. And yeah, besides that, as you can see, bit of pressure at the top lane. So it's all about like lane presence right now. You're trying to just like pressure the lanes back a little bit. It's level 16 talents versus 16. Danatan is very far out. He shouldn't be here, to be honest. Not anymore. Not with 16 now hitting. And he is currently about to learn his lesson. Tic Tac is there. Oh, the synergy denied. The Hinterland Blast would have gotten huge value, but the Void Prison is there. The kill against Danatan still. And Tank plus Tic Tac, they are now finally starting to maybe get that kill against Rhaegar. Not quite. Lichterloh healed and can get away. Danatan was pretty far out there, and that was definitely a problem, as you could see in the last engagement. Oh, Araken! The hook and the stun! Holy Ming is in trouble, but Tank is going deep. It's a 4 versus 5, and it has been for a long time. The longer this fight lasts, the lesser the chance of the Evil Murkies to actually win this one. The Lichtalo Iguano, they are of course trying to follow this up, and they're gonna get their kills in. Again, the shield. Tank with a kill against Rhaegar. What's going on here? There's another hook. Is he gonna get the kill? Yes, he does. Sonya takes down Stitches. She dies, and so does Brightwing. But here comes Falstad with a fly, and it's a 3 versus 3, but Arthas isn't with the team yet. Unbelievable that the Evil Murkies are not getting completely slaughtered in this case. That was quite something. That was crazy. So, well, first of all, Danatan just staying a bit too deep here. He went to the top lane, and once level 16 hit, we saw the entire team of Melting Pot collapse onto him. Tassadar was nearby and was trying to help him out, shield him. We saw Brightwing jumping in, the rest of the team tickled in a little bit slow, but finally they were able to really help him out. The problem is at this point he was already so low, he burned a lot of his cooldowns and he died. And then they were only with 4 heroes in position. The hooks that we saw, and by the way, these hooks are on point right now on Stitches. But the hooks definitely were a bit of a problem, always forcing them back into an engage. But with 4 heroes, they were able to trade really nicely. Even when Sonya got hooked and realized that she would definitely die, she just turned it around, dropped Stitches as well. There was incredible play there on their part, so really, really well done. 16 talents, by the way, we haven't really talked about them. We are currently seeing the Rending Cleave. We have also Pulverize for the extra slow and Mega Smash. Pulverize, of course, also playing a huge role in the last one. Here comes again Deadly Ming trying to help out. Void Prism used in the back. This is a perfect setup for a Hinterland Blast. He's not using it, though. ACA, really a little bit weird. Waits for a very, very long time. That corridor was perfect for Hinterland Blast. He didn't use it. Really, it surprised me a bit. He gets his value, as I said before, though. There's a double kill overall and nice damage against Tank too. So ACA, again, with a very good hit. It's really weird to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. This bad boy gets his value out of the Hinterland Blast. He really does. But why not use it with a Void Prison when you have everybody else lined up in this corridor right here and get the early damage in? It's a bit surprising to me the way that he actually plays this, but it's working out for him. I mean, look at his damage alone. He's at 57k and therefore on the same damage output as Li Ming, which isn't too bad. Talking Li Ming, oh, she gets the kill over here against Falstad. He was trying to fly up top. Boss is getting ignored, but the red team is cursed again. Very nice rotation from the Evil Murkies. They realize that they can't do anything against the boss attempt, so instead they move to the top, they claim the curse. The boss is not going to do as much as it could, and now the lanes are being pressured in again. And we already have, by the way, the core starting to lose hit points. And with the curse, they have to be careful, because they are about to lose hit points on the core. That's going to happen any moment right now. Yep, there's the catapult. So currently we're having Tyrande, not with a team. Up here to the top on the other hand, we're seeing the owl traveling in again. Still 100% on the core. The shields are regenerating right now. The boss, of course, picked up a few of those mercenaries, sorry, of their minions that were pushing in, so that helped. When we talk experience, we still have a lead at this point for the Evil Murkies. They are looking at level 20. But in kills, we actually see them surpassed. It's 10 kills against 9 at this point. So again, a keep is being attacked. It is a best of 1. Keep that in mind. Here comes that backline Void Prison. Well done here. Tic Tac has to move out and does, but Stitches is dead against 3. Here comes the Ancestral to save Zeratul for now. But now they are back in full force with 5 heroes trying to drop Zeratul. They're jumping in. His blink is ready. He can get away. The keep is eliminated though, and that's the second keep that has fallen. The level 20 talent's ready, and Twilight Archon is of course a brutal talent to have against you. Now we're seeing also a double Storm Shield that allows them to go in deep once again, especially with Stitches eliminated. They can go for their third keep, and that's exactly what they do. Even the stun against Tank does not really matter. All of the keeps eliminated, which of course means that any boss that could be taken right now will aim straight for the core. Great play here on the side of the Evil Murkies. They have lost a bit of the pressure and a little bit of the dominance that they executed in the earlier stages of the game, but they are definitely back on track right now with their performance here. I have to give some credit to the Melting Pot though. These guys have done some very serious work in this game, and especially that combo with Stitches worked out quite nicely for them. 71,000 damage, by the way, on Falstad. And yes, of course, granted, plays Shock and Awe, aka the Hinterland Blast. but still he was able to do very, very solid damage in this entire game. Died twice, but we have him on 87,000 siege damage and 71,000 hero damage. Doesn't get the utility of the Mighty Gust, but still very decent damage here. And they have level 20 right now, and that means that we are now seeing the Call of the Wildhammer. That's a huge talent for him. Could use it right now. There's 3 heroes lined up perfectly. He could go for it. Doesn't yet. Does not take the opportunity. This is the chance, and he takes it. Gets the damage in. Tank is nearly down. That's the opportunity to get a kill against Danatan. Tank is moving in deep, and he dies. Danatan is about to fall, but he can still keep himself alive with the Army of the Dead. A lot of rewinds taken for the Melting Pot, but they are also in trouble since the core is being attacked by waves, and they might lose a few of those. It's a 5 versus 4 in their favor right now. Decent hook again against Q, and the kill against Brightwing. A 5 versus 3 now, but the core is still being attacked as we're seeing catapults moving in. ACA is trying to defend it, but even with a 5 versus 3 situation, thanks to all of the keeps taken down by the evil Murkies, we are not seeing a huge advantage for the Melting Pot after that triple kill. They cannot move out. They even have to give up the tribute right now because they have to defend their base. So that's really the big problem that they're facing here. We only saw them put a bit of damage at the bot lane keep, but besides that, everything else is still intact for the Murkies. Up to the mid lane. There we have it. The fort is still there. And this is where Melting Pot is trying to go straight for the top, and they try to secure the boss. That could work out for them, but Brightwing can of course teleport in, so that could work out too. They're already waiting for it. We have Ancestral still ready, but here's the Tassadar already trying to piss them off a little bit as they're trying to go for a boss. Guess what? Li Ming is coming in as well, and she goes for the laser show. Once again, the pew pew. Zeratul immediately blinking out there. Tic Tac in the backline trying to take him on, and he eliminates him. There's the boss, and it's claimed. It is taken, but at what cost, Reddit? At what cost? There's the kill against Zeratul, against Falston, against Rhaegar. Lichtalo is also about to fall. They go for him. The polymorph is real. Tank is on his heels and stitches. He wanted to play, but he gets dropped. Down he goes. Tyrande also slowed down, and that's of course the end of it. They get the boss, but they lose the game. The evil Murkies will advance to the semi-final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly. Congratulations, and a great game to start us off into our tournament day here. 15 kills against 12, and 20 minutes in, we finally see a conclusion. The evil Murkies, they take it against the Melting Pot and advance to the semi-finals.